Hi, I'm Jackson Bird, and this is the video they don't want you to see. So remember how outraged we all were when we discovered that age-appropriate LGBTQIA+ videos were unavailable in restricted mode on YouTube, and how they continue to be marked as not ad-friendly sometimes? The reason that we were all outraged is because young, queer, gender non-conforming, and questioning kids need access to the resources and role models in those videos so they can learn about themselves and know that they're not alone. Unlike a lot of other cultural groups and identities, most kids grow up without other queer or trans people in their lives. So having somewhere that they can learn about who they are and see themselves reflected is crucial. And this doesn't just come from YouTube videos, it can also happen with books. So when schools exclude LGBTQ+ books from their shelves, they're not only sending a message that LGBTQ+ students aren't welcome there, they're preventing some kids from getting the resources that they need, and they're continuing to remove us from the narrative of history. Or herstory, or queerstory. Kids who see themselves reflected positively in media grow up with a positive sense of self and identity. And that exposure to positive LGBTQ+ culture from a young age also creates future allies. I remember what it was like to have no idea who or what I was when I was growing up. To have feelings I didn't have words for, to think that I was all alone. And I remember how good it felt to find like the one rare gay book at Barnes & Noble and how I would hide it inside of other books so no one would see what I was reading. But that sense of shame and lack of resources had lasting effects on my life. And nowadays, there is so much awesome representation out there, so to see people trying to take that away from kids is so aggravating. Of the top 10 most challenged books last year, half were due to LGBTQ+ themes, including This One Summer, George, and Two Boys Kissing. I mean, basically just like my entire book collection has been banned. But books are banned for more than just LGBTQ+ reasons. Some books regularly banned by racists include Invisible Man, Beloved, The Color Purple, Of Mice and Men, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Basically any book that features people of color was written by a person of color. Books like The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime and Flowers for Algernon are ostensibly challenged for things like profane language or sex or drug references. But like the other books I've mentioned, regardless of why they're challenged, excluding them from libraries erases a minority group from being represented. Books are also often banned for sexual content, including straight up sex ed books. And it's crucial for people, especially kids and teenagers, to have exposure to this type of information so they can grow to be confident in their body, their sexuality, and their relationship to others. But a lot of times, books are banned due to one or two mentions of something sexual without a consideration for the value of the entire book as a whole. Like Looking for Alaska by John Green. Or one of the most banned books of all time, The Diary of Anne Frank. Because nothing says inappropriate for teenagers like a book written by a teenager. And just so we're clear on a couple of things, when I say a book has been challenged, that means a complaint has been made at a school or a library asking for a book to be removed from the shelves. And overwhelmingly, this is parents asking that a book be removed from a school library. Now, when a book has been banned, that means the challenge was successful and the book has been removed from the shelves. Sometimes books get banned from entire countries, like when Green Eggs and Ham was banned from China because of its Marxist undertones. But usually it just gets banned from one institution, or lots of institutions. And in the case of books being removed from public schools and public libraries, that is censorship. Because, as the First Amendment here in the United States says, the government can make no law abridging the freedom of speech. And I know we're all upset about freedom of speech right now, since our president keeps trying to infringe on it by doing things like calling for the firing of Jemele Hill, or NFL players, or who knows who else by the time this video has gone live. But people who work for the government, like the president, aren't the only ones beholden to the First Amendment. Government institutions, like public schools and libraries, are also bound from abridging free speech. Now, public schools are allowed certain exceptions to protect the safety and education of students, which is pretty much what's being debated anytime a book is challenged. But, like the National Coalition Against Censorship says, schools cannot provide a comprehensive education without allowing students to encounter a diversity of ideas. But that diversity of ideas is kind of exactly what people who are challenging books don't want students to read. Which brings me to another part of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So many books get challenged on the basis of religious beliefs. They're cited for calls to ban all of the books I've mentioned above, especially the LGBTQ+ ones, but also because some of these people think that magic is real and kids are gonna learn about it from children's books like A Wrinkle in Time, or The Wizard of Oz, or Strega Frickin' Nona, or, of course, Harry Potter. And, you know, one reason I personally might be so passionate about banned books is because when I was a kid, I was treated to regular viewings over the evening news of my favorite book series being actually set on fire by grown-ups who thought it was nonfiction. So what can you do about this? Well, this week is Banned Books Week, so there are a ton of organizations out there celebrating banned books and promoting ways that you can take action. I've put a bunch of links to those organizations and their action items down in the description box, and my favorite way to take action is simply to read. Do what most people who are challenging books haven't done, and get the full context on a book about why it's being challenged so you can come to your own conclusions about whether it really is so dangerous and disruptive that it needs to be censored. Besides recommending every book I've already mentioned, some other banned books that I think are important to be reading right now include The Handmaid's Tale, Fahrenheit 451, 1984, All the King's Men, and Go Tell It on the Mountain. And if you dig this Azkaban Books t-shirt, you can hop on over to the Harry Potter Alliance's store and get one for yourself. All proceeds go to the work that we do around literacy and leadership development, which you can read more about in the description box. And finally, if you liked this video, please do share it on social media using the Banned Books Week tag. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. That is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.